Okay, in this next lesson, what I'd like to show you how to do is to use our eraser tool. So what you need to do is go and find a photo that you'd like to use. I encourage you to go to our processed photos on our Google Drive and take down any photo that you can find that you can use. I actually can't go there right now. I'm recording these during the summer and we don't have any processed photos in there right now. Well, actually, let me see if I can do this. Um, if we go to the shared drive, I believe I still should have access to our old one from last year. So you'll want to go into the 2020 yearbook to the process photos. I'm going to go into the 2019 because I know that there's still photos in there. Here we go. We'll go to the process photos. And then let's just say I'm going to go to student life and I'll go to homecoming and I will find one that I can use. So I'm going to choose this one and download it. And these will take just a little bit of time because they are bigger photos. So you'll see the difference here when we bring them into Photoshop. So once I have it open, I can right click and say open with Photoshop. And we spin and we spin and we spin. Okay, so you can see how much bigger this is with your ruler. Mine is almost 20 inches by, about 13 and a half or so. So it's a good size document. So what I actually want to do here is I'm going to make a selection. I'm going to make a selection of them because I don't want this background in there. I think for the sake of time, I'm going to try using my quick selection tool. And I'm going to make my brush size just a little bit bigger. And I'm just going to click and drag down to make this selection. There we go. And I'm going to hold my shift key to add in the other girl here and try to get all of her little added things here. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can just maybe, I don't really want that little bit of the shadow, but I'm going to grab it so I can show you how to use the eraser tool. So once I have my selection, again, there's multiple ways that you can add this, and we've practiced this before, but it's kind of the first time we've done it with a large picture. So what we're actually going to do here is um, I'm going to just grab my move tool and I'm going to click on it and move it up and over onto that other graphic I had, and then I'm just going to drop it in the center. Now the thing that you're going to realize here is you can see, remember our base graphic that we created in the last lesson was just a 5 inches by 5 inches, and this one is much bigger. So remember, what you can do is you can use your transform command. Now however you want to do this is up to you. You can go to edit and you can go to transform and you can go to scale if you want to and scale it down. I like to just do the free transform, which is going to give me the bounding box. Now you can't even see the bounding box, that's how big it is. So all I'm going to do is just drag down to the right, and there you'll start to see I'm just looking for a corner. So there's my first corner. Remember that what you have to do is hold your shift key down, because if you don't hold your shift key down, it's going to start to stretch and get disproportional, and that's not going to look good when you're working with actual photos. So I just have to hold my shift key down and I make it smaller and smaller. And just to give me the option to keep doing this, I drag it up out of the way, pull, 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 holding my shift key the whole time. And now we start to have these two lovely young ladies that fit on my graphic. Okay, so that is how you can bring a photo, or a selection I should say, into a new graphic, and then also how you can use your transform, because you would need to because they're so much bigger. So now what I want to show you, I'm going to commit this transformation, and they're going to end up as a new layer over here. You could rename it and say girls. What I want to do is just show you how to use your eraser tool. As I said, I didn't really want to grab this shadow piece down here, but I did just so I can show you how to use my eraser. So obviously we wouldn't want this little like bit of excess. So what I'm going to do is grab my eraser tool, and my eraser tool again is in the second section. You just go ahead and click on it, and it is a brush. So you can either set the size and you can set the hardness about whether you want a real hard edge is at 100%, or if you want a real soft edge, that would be at 0. Okay, and then what you can do, and you just have to make sure you're on the right layer. So I'm on my girls layer, and I'm just going to go over here. I'm actually going to make it just a little bit bigger with my bracket keys. And then you just go in and you just hold it, click and hold, and drag to erase whatever you need to. Now the thing about an eraser is that it is gone for good. Now yes, I can go up to my history panel and you'll see I use my eraser twice. However, remember you only get 20 states. So if you use your eraser, every time you click once, that creates a state. So you only get 20 of those before you start to lose parts of your graphic. Now you can use your eraser on anything. I'm just going to show you that if I were to click on my layer 1, which is my kind of orangish background, I'm just going to go back to my eraser and I'm going to make it real big. I'm going to undo this because I'm not actually going to want to erase my background, but you can see I can just slice through and erase whatever is on that layer. If I click on my blue layer, I can do the same thing. I can slice through and erase that. And if I'm clicked on the girls, I could slice through and erase them. So that's just how your eraser works. It's just a brush. The other thing I was going to show you is that you can turn the opacity down for that, just to show you the difference here. I'm going to zoom in on her black t-shirt because that'll be nice and easy to see. If we grab our eraser, and I'm going to make this a little smaller, and I change my opacity down to say 50, you'll see that it does erase some of it, but you also still have a little bit of black there. Just to show you the difference in the hardness here, remember this is a hardness of 100%, so you can see I get a nice clean edge. If I were to drag my hardness down to 0% and click, I get a feathered edge. So that's the difference here between a very feathered edge and a very sharp edge. You can see how different those two are. So that is how we use our eraser tool. I'm just going to backtrack in my history panel back to here, and I'm going to leave this graphic open because we're going to keep working with it as a practice one through our next few lessons here. You can close the graphic of whatever picture you found. We don't need that anymore, so you can just close that out, and I'll meet you in the next lesson.